Welcome back to Etienne's kitchen. Today we're making pasta, chicken pasta. So I started out by, I put 3 chicken thigh quarters, leg quarters into this soup pot with water, about half filled with water, and then I cooked the chicken down until I had a really nice chicken broth and some chicken that was great for barbecue. So the chicken, you don't want to overcook it because there's a just right point when you do that. If you cook it in the water too far, the collagen breaks down and the chicken becomes, it just falls apart. It doesn't have any texture. So maybe undercook it a little bit. What you're doing is you're getting like a free pot of broth and then some really nice chicken to throw on the barbecue with some barbecue sauce and another meal entirely. So right now what I have left is the broth from cooking down the chicken. Then I boiled off most of the water, so what's left is going to go into our pasta. The next thing we're going to do is get the noodles starting to cook. So I've boiled some water so I don't have to wait for it on the burner in my Russell Hobbs vintage tea kettle. So I'm going to put the water right in there, and then we'll throw in about this much salt. Alright, now if you don't put salt into your pasta when you boil it, your pasta will taste bland. It won't taste right. So to really bring out the flavor, you need to salt your water. So I was going to use spaghetti, but I just discovered I'm out of spaghetti, so I'm going with capellini. Now I need 100 grams of pasta per person. I'm cooking for 3, so we'll want about 300 grams. This is 450 grams, so I'm going to want about 2/3 of this. About like that. And then twist. And then as it starts to soften, you can push it down. We're going to cook it to al dente. It's going to be about 3 minutes. The reason we want to cook it to al dente, which is not quite done, not quite completely cooked, is because when we do the final stage of the cooking, we don't want it to get too soft or overcooked. So I'll set the timer on 3 minutes. And enjoy my Campari spritz while the pasta is bending to my will. This is some really nice brie cheese from Costco, made in France. Really good. You should get some. While we're waiting for that, we're going to chop our fresh Italian parsley, because that's an important component of our recipe. We're going to take the stems off. And we're using Italian parsley because we're cooking Italian. I'll take the stems off and just leave the leaves. Okay, that'll work. Now Now we're going to bunch it all together like this, and then we can start chopping it very finely. We want to take it down to very small particles. Smaller particles give you a little more flavor, and they make it a little more pleasant while you're eating it. There's the timer. That means the pasta is ready. Small pasta like this, you got to be a little bit careful. I made a mistake. Because you definitely don't want to overcook. Now, every good Italian dish requires sofrito. So we're going to put in about, we got 3 people, so we're going to need about that much extra virgin olive oil, product of Italy. And then the most important part is the garlic. Now watch carefully. We take our garlic clove. We're going to use about 2 cloves on this, and you cut it right in the middle in half. And then you'll see this little sprout. This little sprout inside. We're going to cut that off. Only we're not going to lose our temper. So we have our piece of garlic without the little sprout thing inside, which is strong and gives you garlic breath. So we remove that, and then we cut it into thirds into small pieces on each half. Throw it into the oil. You take that sprout out of both sides. Now turn the burner on medium. And then we'll discard all this, the little sprouts inside and the skins. But if the skins find their way into the sofrito, don't worry about it, it's okay. Now we're just going to heat that up until the garlic is golden brown. And then we're going to remove it, because if we leave it in there, all it will do is give it a burnt garlic flavor, which is not pleasant. So we're just going to brown it lightly and then remove it. Try not to cook without an adult beverage nearby. Yeah. There is an art to Italian cooking, and I was taught by my good friends in Italy. How to do it right. Okay, can you see how the garlic is now golden brown? That means it is ready to come out. And now the oil in the bottom has a nice garlicky flavor, but it's not too strong. Alright, so there we are. Our sofrito is ready. And now we are ready to toss in our pasta. And our Italian parsley. We'll go ahead and put in our chicken broth that's left over. Now, what's the most important part of this is stirring. We work it, and we work it until it becomes creamy. That's why we want to cook our pasta to al dente, which is not quite done. If you cook it to completion, it'll overcook. You see that? Pretty wet. Not too wet, but a little bit wet. We'll our broth and our parsley. Now we're just stirring it to work up the gluten so that it'll be creamy. I'm going to get a few tomatoes ready just to make it a little more interesting. These are Italian plum tomatoes. I was just in Italy last week. Had a good time, met some new friends, learned a lot about cooking Italian. Like most places, people like to share what they know about cooking and this and that. People like friends, they like to have friends, they like to learn from them. They like to care for them, care for one another, and teach them. Now if you can see in there, see how creamy this is getting? We'll keep stirring that just a little bit more. And it's just about ready. I have a bit of chicken right here I'm going to throw in. This is part of what was cooked with the broth that didn't get eaten yet. And it's great because this chicken can be used to make some chicken salad sandwiches or pretty much anything. Barbecue. Now one thing, after these garlic pieces cool down, dip them in a little bit of salt. Very good. So we'll stir that chicken in there, and we'll throw these tomatoes in. We have a really lovely batch of pasta. And there's the final product. Leave a comment below, and I hope you enjoyed Etienne's Kitchen.